Two Gay Geeks, episode 44, October 26th, 2015. Who are those guys? And are they Power Rangers too? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also here in lovely, and oh my gosh, it's like not even 90 degrees, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yay. We have an exciting interview for you today, so let's get right to it. And today we have joining us from the cast of Beyond the Impact, or BTI, we have David Wagner and we have Travis Osland. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and we want to kind of give a little background into who you are and give us who you are and who your character is on BTI. So who wants to go first?
By all means.
Okay, my name is Travis Osland, and I played the role of Agent William Shepard, an FBI agent that's been tasked to find a missing scientist in BTI.
Cool. And then David?
Yep, I'm David Wagner. I play, it's Alexei Popov is the correct pronunciation, but everyone says Alexei Popov, which has a story behind it. But yeah, that's me. I play the Russian dude in BTI, one of the fake Russians.
So I just want to say something up front here, now, because it's going to come up.
Uh-oh.
And I know it is.
Here we go.
So here we go. I do not dislike Travis.
No, it's
not at all.
It's
not
Agent
at all.
Shepard you don't like.
It's the way you portrayed the character, and it was him, and you did it perfectly. And I realized that, and I said that in my review. I said it was the way the character was written and the way you played the character. He was supposed to be annoying, but I didn't realize that until after the fact. But you did a really great job, Travis. I thank you for doing that, but I just needed to clear the error there.
Am I the only one who didn't think Shepard was annoying? I mean, I didn't.
I don't know. I didn't.
I thought he was okay.
I realized that was this character, and I guess that is one of those things that just comes out after you hear some reviews.
Everyone else loved it.
Well,
I thought Shepard was a pretty nice guy.
I mean, he's annoying in the sense that he's a newbie, and he's I think I was probably living inside Alexei, because it's obvious that Alexei is very annoyed by Shepard.
Yeah, but I think he's annoyed by everything right at this
true.
point.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're coming from the Alexei's perspective, and you kind of see yourself in his shoes, you're right. I can see how my character would be annoying.
But he's growing on me like a fungus.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to think it was more like moss.
More like moss. Well, but you're not a sitting still stone.
No.
Anyway, so how was it that you guys, tell us about the relationship that you guys have and your working relationship on the set, and anything personal that's going on between you as friendship-wise outside of BTI, and does that carry over, or does that help, or does it not, or...
Our disdain on camera is the same off camera.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah.
Punch him every time I see him.
So you guys are in separate rooms, right?
Yeah, no, actually, I feel like we have a pretty playful relationship off camera and just in and off set, and that kind of just it definitely makes us more comfortable to play our roles on camera, I would say.
Well,
This is a good guy.
There's wonderful chemistry that we've seen especially when the two of you are in the car heading off to parts unknown to start your investigation. I mean, the dialogue that goes on there it's just really enjoyable to watch, and also again when you're in the cafe. So, what did you guys do in order to prepare for that? I mean, that kind of chemistry just doesn't come naturally in most cases. I mean, sometimes it's there, but most cases it's not. It has to be kind of cultivated. So, what did you do together in an attempt to create that playful chemistry that we do see?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess part of it was luck. We just get along really well. The other part of it's kind of selfish on my part. I figure if I can make him look as good as possible, then it'll reflect good on me. So I try to approach it from a less
is more.
Yeah. So I try to help him as much as I can as the other actor. I don't know if that makes sense or if that sounds too douchey or what, but
no, that's exactly. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that I'm learning from David, and also like we had, before we even shot the first scene, I mean, we had gotten to know each other pretty well, like probably a year before that, and we started off in the same acting, or we didn't do any scenes, I don't think, across from each other, but we started off in the same acting class or the same acting school, and kind of started the relationship there, I guess.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's very interesting. So you kind of had something beforehand.
Yeah, we were both in the same class, and although I got onto the project before, see, they did like an open audition for the project. I think that's how Travis and Leslie and a few others got involved.
Yeah.
I got involved the week before that happened, so it's not like we both auditioned on the same day and got the parts. I kind of got mine on the side. Helps to know people,
Yeah.
So
he's got a week on me.
Yeah. Well, it
back
also.
in my day, back in the golden days. Yeah. So Travis came on and he was going to play a different role, and then he got moved to Shepard, and I think it's a perfect fit for him.
Well, that's cool. And you have kind of a little bit of an advantage there, David, because you're actually doing some of the screenwriting, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I was going to mention that too. Some of the dialogue. Thank you. I'll put that as a gold star on my checklist here.
There you go. Well, you should put that also on your IMDb resume. So, and Travis, you need to fill out something in IMDb. There's nothing on you. Nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing.
BTI is by far and away the biggest and most high quality production that I've been a part of. So
yeah, put your resume out there.
Yeah.
So that would help.
And to just a little bit more on what we were talking about earlier is just Dave having being a part of the writing process. At any point, if I wasn't talking with Jeff, I was talking with David about how he wrote the character. I feel like that's that was the best way for me to kind of flesh it out, is just talking about it with Dave and with Jeff, and luckily both of them had been extremely accessible, more so than any other norm, I'd say, that actor gets to reach out to his director.
Right. This is an interesting project in the sense that Jeff has this whole thing mapped out and pretty much the whole story, and knows the story, and only gives you guys what you need to know at the time. But it's
that's
also
probably the best thing to do,
yeah.
because the sad thing is a lot of TV shows, they will give the cast members, they'll let them know exactly how everything is going to be resolved, how everything's going to end. And what ends up happening is the actors then start acting towards the result,
right.
as if the result is already there, instead of acting the process as the character will be going through. So yeah, it's kind of smart that Jeff would want to keep that quiet.
Right. But it's also a good project because Jeff kind of does a little bit of everything too. So, and is very accessible and very different in the way he handles things that most directors would not do under most circumstances.
Good thing he's part octopus.
Yeah. There you go.
So when you guys were approached on this, what did you know about BTI? And when you finally, what was it that made you say, yeah, I do want to do this?
For me, let's see. First of all, it was a project, and I had just started my classes like a half a year earlier. I've been doing on the stage stuff kind of in my own little bubble for like my whole life. So I've been the big fish in a very little pond for a long time. So I decided to branch out and get into film and TV acting, and so that's why I got the classes here in San Diego, and that's where I met Travis and a bunch of the other people that are on the cast. And so it wasn't maybe a half a year later. I started in March, maybe in August or so. I got word about this project. September maybe. Anyways, friend of a friend, that kind of thing. And I thought, oh heck yeah, whatever it is, I'll do it, because I was at that point. I'm like, I got to try some of this stuff I'm learning. I'm not really I'm not really doing anything film-wise that I'm not doing myself. I want to work on someone else's project. So the opportunity came. I thought, heck yeah, sign me up. So I auditioned, and when I got the part, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So I didn't really know much about it other than it was science fiction. There were these 3 movie scripts that apparently were already written, which I still have never seen. They may be an urban legend for all I know. They probably exist. And we had some rough sides that someone typed up, and he just started auditioning. And I thought, wow, that's weird. We don't even have a script. It just seemed a strange way for me to do it, because I've always, you hammer out the script first, you finalize it, you go for it, and then you get the people involved. And to me, the script always came first. So to see the casting and the characters coming first before the script was a little disconcerting for me. But yeah. Jeff is such a strong personality, and I know he hates it when people gush about how awesome he is, but he's awesome. So let's just
he is
we'll
awesome.
Just put that to rest.
Is pretty awesome.
And so I just trusted him. I thought, all right, what the heck, let's go for it. And yeah, the rest is history. What was the original question? Oh my God.
I don't know.
I think it was a question. Well, how did you find out about it? And then,
what did you know about it?
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, what did you know about it? I guess you've already answered. I mean, the reason you decided to take it is because it's a project and you desperately wanted to do it. What about you, Travis?
I wanted work the same, but you could just tell after auditioning for the project and talking with Jeff, and when he had said that I had gotten, well, he said, he didn't say the role, he said a role, because he didn't know what it was going to be at the time, but you could just tell from talking to him that his vision for the project was going to be far bigger and greater than anything that I had worked with or anything else like on the market, just here and what was going on in our San Diego area, just in my opinion. And it didn't take long after having that conversation with him, as I'm sure you guys have realized that when talking to him, that his vision for the project is actually, it's bigger each time that you talk with him, and it becomes something more
absolutely
every day.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, you know, and it's a good thing that he has at least the framework of it. He knows where it's going, because that's integral to telling a good story. And we were talking about another show the other day, that they don't seem to have any idea where the show is going. It's the great shows are the ones that have a beginning and an end.
Right.
So, and then you have something to work with, no matter how long it takes to get there. There's at least a beginning and an end, and obviously the characters are going to tell you where they go and what they do with time, and it may change a little bit, but the end is the end. So, what did you have?
Well, I was going to say, what were your thoughts as you started to go deeper into BTI? What kind of thoughts did you have in terms of this project? Like, oh my God, this is going to be the most amazing thing ever, or holy cow, who is this Jeff guy, and where is his keeper, because he needs to be locked up?
Or what have I gotten myself into?
Well,
or all of the above.
I had nothing really to compare it to, being one of my first things out the gate. So I just was like, all right, I was open to anything. I figured this must just be the way that it's always done. So let's just roll with it and see what happens. I got a little antsy initially, because I kept thinking, I didn't know what the time frames were supposed to be. And before I realized there is no such, I could have just jettisoned that to begin with. But I thought, well, why aren't we doing this yet? As I had no clue as to everything that goes into doing one of these shows. It's amazing, all the pieces that have to come together. I still don't know all the pieces. And Jeff juggles, he's on the phone every day talking to people about different aspects of this project. Whereas me, I was, I just had one of the roles, and I became one of the writers, and that was very small. My plate was very small. And I thought, well, I got my act together. How come everyone else doesn't, yet? Because I just didn't understand it. So I'm learning as I'm going, and Jeff's very patient, thankfully, because I've stepped on his toes a couple times inadvertently, and we've had to settle things, which is fine. Not with fists, you know what I mean. We talked things through. Jeff's very understanding, and he's got a lot of insights into human nature and things to begin with, plus the entertainment industry. So he knows how to deal with people. And I think he can see if someone's worth keeping and if someone isn't. So I think if he thought that I was becoming a burden, he would have cut me loose by now. I think he thinks I still have plenty to offer, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you, Travis?
As far as things to offer, I think Jeff on a day-to-day basis asks himself that question about myself. That's a joke. I hope not. I don't know. I mean, just kind of to mirror what Dave was saying. I mean, every day, or what I was saying earlier, is every day you kind of get the feeling that this could be like something that's bigger than anything, especially that I've ever worked on. I mean, prior to this project, there was like two student films, and so the production value, and we hear that word, that we hear that so much, but I mean, honestly, every move that Jeff makes is to ensure that what the audience sees is high quality and is miles above anything that they have become accustomed to, and I think that's why it's had an effect on the audience that has seen it so far, and so we just try to get more people to become viewers and fans and keep on enjoying it and keep on providing good content.
Yeah, we're very excited about seeing the next part. So that's a nice segue into the next part. You've already started filming, or are you just getting ready to start filming the next?
Yeah, we did some filming last weekend. So
cool.
The ball's already rolling. Yeah.
So you and can you share anything with us or no?
I want to keep all my limbs.
Yeah, and of course Jeff is probably listening in the next room. He's got his glass to the door.
Yeah,
just
heard a shotgun getting
loaded.
Yeah. So
I do know the script though.
Some general.
Go ahead.
Anything general that you can share with us, your relationship or anything that you don't die. Let's put it that way. Or
there's been discussions.
Who's going to die?
Yeah, well, there will be some cast members who do not survive the final, but I can't tell you who, of course.
Oh no.
But one of them is in this room, Trav. Sorry about that.
Oh, jeez.
Damn it.
Let's start rehearsing now.
So I'm not prying. I'm just kind of, it seems that your relationship had, the two of you, and then we've interjected the third FBI agent in there. And how does she play into your relationship between the two of you? Or can you share that? Or
let me see. What can I get away with saying here?
Does she get
actually
between
CIA,
you or
she's
bring?
Not FBI. We thought we'd have one of everybody in there. I'm sure there'll be someone from Mossad here trickling in here.
DEA,
there
possibly.
Yeah, there you go.
ETF maybe. But yeah, she's been sent with her own agenda. Let me see. What can I say here? She's kind of a pawn that thinks she's in charge of the game. So she's going to stop me if I get to Travis here, but she's going to discover some certain things about why she's really there, and it's going to make her a little mad. So initially, she thinks she's kind of take over the investigation and kind of lead Travis and I around by the nose. And then she'll have a bit of a rude awakening. And initially, she'll drive Travis and I closer together, so to speak. So we're a little antagonistic at the moment.
That's sort of a mirror about Shepard, though. I mean, when he's first assigned the case, he's kind of led to believe it's just simply going to be this, and he has absolutely no idea what he's getting himself into.
Yeah. I think that they're extremely, observant, because I mean, this is when we close out the last episode. I mean, we're literally on day one still, and I'm just getting bits and pieces of information. My kind of scope of this investigation is extremely small,
right?
And I feel like that's such a good thing, and that's kind of what makes me excited about the next upcoming things is as my mind gets opened on how the level of what the implications that we I don't know, the implications that what we're looking at, what we're looking for is kind of comes to fruition. It kind of just kind of blows your head open a little bit.
Right, because you're led to believe that this is just a babysitting job.
Yeah, I mean,
initially
that I'm like essentially hosting or working with Alexei just to find a missing scientist.
Right, and then it becomes something more, and then Alexei, there's some implication that he has some idea what's going on, but I mean that's the implication from the first half, and I don't want to.
No, that's pretty accurate. All three of us actually have an idea of what we think's going on, and we'll all find out that we're in a little bit over our heads by the end of it.
Yeah.
And that'll make us all unite closer together as a team, which I hope is not too predictable, but maybe.
Yeah, that's actually...
Well, it's a little bit formula, but at the same time, depending on how it's written and depending on how the characters play their parts, it could still be highly rewarding to watch.
Or I could be lying to you.
Yes.
Well, given that it's David, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, exactly. And so let me ask you this. Does Canberra get scarier?
No Fembot?
Or is she just as scary?
That is a can of worms, my friend.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm going to withhold comment on that under threat of Jeff's glare. So I think she's got a very fascinating story behind her.
I'm sure she does. It is pretty apparent. It's pretty apparent that she has more going on, and she's. I would say it appears that she's trying to take over, but I'll just leave it at that.
So,
yeah, I heard somebody whistling in the background there.
One thing that I'm really pleased with when watching this, and we watched it a couple of times after we came back from our interview, is again how wonderfully realized each of these characters are. And I have to wonder, when you started filming, how much of the character did you bring? How much did Jeff interject? And during the course of the filming, were there ideas that each of you came up with that you thought might help give the character that you were playing a little bit more depth and believability?
It's kind of hard to nail that down. I mean, we had a lot of rehearsal leading up to before we even did our first test shoot, much less the first actual shoot. We'd meet at Jeff's once a week, and we'd go over lines, and we'd modify things and try, and Travis would suggest this, and we'd try that, and Jeff would steer things. So it was kind of a group effort before we even got to the point where we're on the set, which I know is odd. I mean, I'm finding out after the fact that's odd. A lot of local actors that I've talked to, they're like, give me the scripts, let me learn my lines, I'll show up, I'll meet everybody for the first time on the set, and we'll just go without any rehearsal. Exactly. They like that for some reason, which blows my mind. I like the idea of playing with stuff first, and I think...
Well, you come from a stage background, too, and that's very much a part of stage acting, is getting to know the people and being comfortable and having that chemistry.
Sure, and playing and trying things and taking risks and pushing things here and seeing if it works, and if not, you pull it back and push it in that direction. I love that process.
Yeah,
so the idea of just showing up on set and going for it, and then having the director say, "No, be more angry." I mean, to me, that just seems kind of clinical and cold and uncreative to me. But hey, it works for some people. I can't down that. That's the thing. Cool.
Everybody's got to do what they've got to do the way they got to do it.
No, everyone has to do the way I do. See?
There you go.
All right, go ahead.
The reason I bring this up is I saw a wonderful scene when watching it most recently. And that's where Alexei, Travis, and the third FBI agent, you're all in Crow, and the Brunhilde, Miss CEO, she's just verbally castrating Agent Shepard. And Travis, you did something which just made me fall out of my chair laughing, and that is you moved your hands and covered yourself, so to speak.
You know what? That's I saw that too, and that isn't that's something I wasn't exactly aware of doing, and I honestly think that that just shows Sherry's presence in that, in that moment, because she was so powerful that I was just like, okay, that's and you know, like Dave was talking about earlier, just kind of just human instinct is when you come into a room where, you know, you definitely see what powers are at play and that we're stepping into her domain. It's very common for someone who feels that they are in not in a position of power to like retract in a sense, right? And you could see her standing very high with her chin up and her shoulders back. And then as I'm getting my, you know, backside handed to me in a sense, you know, I retract and come in a bit. But that was kind of just something natural. That was, yeah.
It was just an instinctive reaction on your part then.
Yeah, totally. I feel like that's, yeah.
It gave such legitimacy to the scene.
Yeah, it was great. It was a little bit of a mule barbecue there, right?
Well, it had an effect on Alex, on my character as well. Yeah. I mean, I can go toe to toe with camera. I mean, and Jeff's wife, her character, and I could get right up on both of them. But there was that moment in that same scene where Sherry's character looks over at me, and then I kind of glance away. It's like I kind of wilted a bit under her gaze. So she does carry the strength. I'm hoping we can
overpower her.
Kick it up a few notches in the upcoming episodes.
These are bits where something is happening while filming the movie that it takes a life of its own. These weren't necessarily little subtle directions that you were being given. These were things that you just did in reaction to the scene as if you were acting it on stage or something, right?
And it worked.
Exactly.
And some of that comes out in editing. I don't remember. One of my coaches said that real performance is created by the editor.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So Jeff had his pick of what to put where, and yeah, I think he did a kick-ass job. I'm sorry, can I say that? Yeah,
he cut it extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have him to thank for a lot of that too.
Yeah. Well,
there's no way we can tell how it's looking on screen when we're on the other side of the camera. We just got to go for it and hope that it looks good. And if Jeff says that's good, then we move on. If he says, yeah, you know, we got to trust him.
Yeah. So, tell me, how many? I mean, have you had horrific numbers of takes on certain scenes, or has it been fairly smooth? Or,
you know, they call me one take Wagner, right?
I see.
How did I know you were going to say that?
That's actually really true, guys. He's being like, you know, he's making a joke, but I mean, Dave got all of his stuff in 1 or 2 takes.
Wow.
Me, on the other hand,
I think I was
wasting all of our film.
Being the writer helped. Because I crafted the characters on the page and I knew them so well and I knew mine so well. I think I kind of had an advantage over the rest of the cast.
Well, that's true.
And so just in my head, I don't know. I've sunk so deep into the character. It's just at a moment's notice, I could access them and we'll go for it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I've done a lot of rehearsing on my own, if that makes sense, in my head, my invisible audience.
Right. And because you also work so closely with Jeff on the script, you kind of inhabit all of the characters.
This is true.
So, and you probably steer some of the scenes that you're in with other characters, you know, other actors in their performances as well. I
try not to, you know,
but,
I mean, you got
not
room for the actors to kind of bring their own thing to the table, but boy, it's hard to resist sometimes. Because I've done plays for years and years. I've worn all the hats, and I've, you know, been the puppeteer with all the actors on stage and say, no, say it a little more like this. All right, that's perfect, you know. And I think that kind of wears professionals down. I think you can get away with that with less experienced actors, but guys, you know what they're doing, like Travis. You don't want to say, yeah, try to say it this way. You know, that's not really my place.
Well, I didn't mean steer in that sense, but with your performance, you steer them in a certain direction.
In a good sense.
In a good sense.
I know what you're saying. There's a little idiosyncrasies that Dave's character has that he definitely puts into play. Yeah. Once Jeff calls action, that you have no choice but to react to in like an organic way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Cool.
Now, I was just reminded of something through a very bizarre derailed train of thought with a whole thing about one take Dave there. So, David, are you in fact a smoker or not?
I am not. That wasn't evident.
No, that's just it. It wasn't evident.
No, I'm not. I never smoked a thing before that scene that day in the Moscow, the warehouse there.
So
I smoked half a pack that day.
I was wondering. I heard some scuttlebutt after San Diego that you went through like a pack or something like that just for the scene alone.
Yeah, half a pack I smoked that day, just during all the takes there. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the real thing. It was like like these fake herbal or clove cigarettes just to.
Those were legit.
Oh man.
Half a pack of Marlboro Reds.
Oh geez.
Virgin
Oh
smoker. Yeah, it was fine. No, I thought I just got to go for it.
yeah.
'Cause who knows? That was our very first day of filming the real project, and I thought I'm not gonna wimp out here. I got to go for it. I'm gonna throw it all on the table and see what happens. If I can curl up in a fetal position and cough my lungs out, then that's a small price to pay.
Right.
But it didn't. It worked fine. I didn't I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel any negative effects. And I was breathing deep. I don't know if you could tell some of those. I was like, all right, let's see how deep I can
Dragging it all.
Oh.
There were a couple places I had to wait while my eyes cleared up because I could go right into my eyes and make them water. And I thought, yeah, well, the crying Russian here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it would have fit. It would have fit.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, he's supposed to be a bit more stoic than that.
Yeah. So, what can you share anything? What is the deal with the cigarette? Why did he leave his cigarettes on the
there
plane?
was
Because
something about the
it
cigarettes
was-
left on the plane.
That was almost like a smoking gun. It's almost as if he did that deliberately.
No, he didn't do it on purpose. He left them accidentally.
Ah.
And Jeff and I have gone back and forth about how long to string out that, because initially it started just as a running joke, and then it became, well, let's make it part of the story. There's a reason behind it, and we've gone back and forth about that. So yeah, I had like 3 different running gags, if you will, that I wanted to incorporate. The Jeff nixed 2 of them. I was going to have Travis and I connect on the movie Aliens and to start quoting the movie Aliens at various points during the
Oh
dialogue.
man, I would have geeked out
That
big
was so
time
much
on that.
fun, but, Jeff said, yeah, no. I thought, oh, come on, man, sci-fi.
Oh,
We'll have a lot of
please.
fans. They'll all love it. We'll just see what are they going to quote next. But yeah, he didn't want to go for it. But,
Well, it would also serve as a
That
nice
needed a couple
bonding moment between Alexei and Shepard.
would have been a cool
Something
little
something to
thing.
bond over. It would have been great. I'll have to talk to Jeff about that.
But yeah, the cigarette thing, I'm not sure how long we can realistically carry that on. I think, yeah, I'll be smoking soon. So.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing that I wasn't doing that because I'm an ex-smoker, and that would be disaster written all over it.
Off the bandwagon, huh?
Yep. One drag's all it takes.
So, when you come into this project, what was do you have any background or even a passive background on like science fiction or anything along those lines? Because that's something that a lot of geeks love to just kind of jump on in terms of, if you're doing science, you must be a fan.
Well, I've been a geek from back in the day, but it's mostly been fantasy rather than sci-fi. For some reason, it's taken a while for sci-fi to get its hooks in me. And I know that they're like twin sisters or whatever, but what do you call it? Swords and sorcery and dragons and knights have just always really, I love that. And the whole idea of exploring space, I think I've had that same reaction watching Prometheus and Interstellar. It just makes me feel really small. I know it sounds lame, but the vastness of space, and I've been reading books, and it's just it has kind of a weird effect on my psyche. It just makes me feel really insignificant. But the idea of magic and dragons and all that, and Game of Thrones, that kind of thing, I really resonate there more so.
It's empowering.
Than sci-fi. Yeah, I do like sci-fi, and I have been reading books like since my youth. I'm a nerd. What can I say? Go ahead, Trav. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say that what really kind of enticed me into the project was the aspect of foreign film that it was. Like, it's taking place over multiple continents, and as you guys see more of it, you'll see more of that too, the international aspect, and I that's the part that I absolutely love about it. And the government agencies, I always, I'm a huge FBI, CIA fan, and the military tie-ins. Military movies or films and international films are high on my list, and so having it incorporate all that is pretty cool. I'm getting my feet wet with science fiction.
It's more
Well,
of a
everybody
Call
has
me a newbie.
Everybody's got to be a newbie at some point.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's go back a little bit. And what was it about acting then that made you say, "Ooh, this is something that I want to do"?
Well, let's see. How personal can I get here?
As personal as you want.
For the longest time, acting was an escape from myself for me. I had a lot of self-loathing issues when I was growing up, and the idea of playing somebody completely different just was ridiculously appealing to me, because then I could take a break from being me. It's really been only the last few years since I've shaken that, because now it's a reason to explore different parts of me that I haven't let myself explore. I can do and say things that I wouldn't let myself do and say in real life, so to speak. But yeah, it's transitioned. Early on, it was an escape, because my self-image was pretty low. So learning to act was more of a, the better I can act, the more thoroughly I can escape from myself. And I think I've matured in that last few years. And now I kind of like me, what can I say?
That's
and
pretty
so
cool.
I'm kind of exercising muscles that I haven't before, as far as exploring things that I can do and say that I don't normally do.
Like discover different parts of yourself.
Yeah. Was that too hokey? I'm sorry.
No, actually, that was a really good
good.
answer. What about you, Travis?
For me, it's the okay. I can't help but love all the aspects of the just human interaction, and I've always found it fascinating. Like if I was, I don't know, like it's just being able to manipulate that and play with that. Is just thrilling for me. Just on and off the camera, that's what I love the most about life, is just human interaction and being able to tell stories through taking on different characters and playing with that human interaction is extremely, I don't know, it just feels rewarding. I enjoy it, and I'm constantly fascinated by it. I feel like I learn every day something about myself, something about somebody else. Kind of, you just become mature, I think, in an emotional way, and I think that there's just a lot of important aspects to that even with somebody who doesn't want to or would never see themselves picking up acting as a career. I mean, I feel like that they would be able to learn so much about themselves just by even trying a class, an improv, or playing a character. I think that we all like that in somewhere deep down. We all like making fun or having trying different accents, imitating people. It's all stuff that everybody does.
Right.
It's just I just love doing it too.
How long have you been pursuing acting actively?
Acting actively.
For me, it's been over 2 years now.
Cool.
And of course, and David, you said you were doing stage work prior
my
to
first play, I was in 4th grade. I was the Wizard of Oz, played the Scarecrow.
And did I.
Yeah, I was in high school. I took some classes, and then it kind of laid low until the early 90s. And then the church that I go to, we started doing plays, and I quickly became in charge of that. So from the mid 90s till today, we do a couple plays a year. So it's been a while. But I took some method acting classes about 10 years ago from a local dude here, Alan Bridgewater, and that was really interesting. The method approach is just strange. I mean, there's some good things about it, but the whole relaxation and visualization thing, I mean, I'm probably speaking Greek here, but it didn't quite. It was a little too weird for me. But the classes I'm taking now, both down here in San Diego and up in Hollywood with Rob Adler at Adler Improv, they're just fantastic. And like Travis was saying, you learn so much more about yourself just through the act of learning how to become a better actor. It's just really cool. It's enriching and rewarding on a personal level as well as professional.
That's cool. I was going to ask if either one of you did a method type of approach to your acting, and because there are a lot of people that do method acting, and it is an unusual way to go about. I've heard stories of actors that are so in character, even when they walk off the set, that you don't talk to them.
Right.
They're in that method.
Daniel Day-Lewis, that's for sure. Hey, it works for him, But I don't know if I could get that deep. I admire that. I love, like, Heath Ledger Joker in The Dark Knight. I just love that. To me, that was just so. That's what acting is, I know people had issues with that, but I loved it. So yeah, him, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Jared Leto. I think I've read some stories about his current experiences on the set of Suicide Squad, him playing the Joker. Maybe it's just the Joker. I don't know. But,
Brad Dourif, when he was doing Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings, during the entire time they were filming, he was always in a British accent, whether the cameras are on or off. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until they finally said that's a wrap that he finally said, oh, thank God I can get rid of that accent now.
4 years later.
Yeah.
That worked. That was a cool character. Well done.
Yeah.
So this might come off as a personal question, and I don't mean it to, but just to get a better understanding of who each of you are individually, what? Oh boy, how do I ask this question? What do you do professionally?
Good, Dave.
We got a family business here in San Diego that deals with Oriental rugs, wash and repair and restoration, Navajos, tapestries, that kind of thing for collectors. That's our family business. That's my bread and butter. I do graphics work for them and website stuff, photographs, photos. I'm a Photoshop guy. I make us look good, informational products, that kind of thing. And then I'm also a writer and actor, so I kind of consider them both my professions, so to speak.
Have you been able to make the writing acting portion lucrative on some level for yourself?
Occasionally, not consistently.
Well, occasionally is better than none.
Exactly.
This is true. Yeah, no, with my acting, I've got an agent here, and they've sent me out on a lot of. I've done a lot of a lot of police training videos with the local San Diego Police Department. They do. So I got to play a guy getting caught in a car with an underage prostitute.
Oh, how fun! Oh my God!
Another one I got to film in a actual courtroom. I got to play a defense lawyer.
Oh, I wonder, are there any of these on YouTube? I would love to see them.
Those sound awesome.
I can't even see them. They're property of the police department.
Oh,
wow.
Man, some of those sound like they'd be a blast to watch.
Yeah, so I get to have fun there. I'm becoming one of the favorites of that group there.
Oh, that's cool.
What about you, Travis?
You're the favorite con, huh?
Yeah.
I work in mortgage banking. I work for a small lending institution here in San Diego. And on the side, I do a little mail stripping, but just...
Whoa!
Hey! No.
Where?
My wife's my only client right now. Trying to expand.
Oh, darn!
I see.
Trying to expand.
I was about to make a special trip down to San Diego just to see this.
Yes.
Your wife is your only client, so it doesn't matter how much she stuffs in your underwear. It's all going in the same pocket.
Yeah, the money's not going anywhere.
Oh man, had to make some off colors.
That's okay.
That's our show. It's perfectly natural.
That's cool. So,
so I guess the question that I've got now is, what does your future look like? I suppose right now you're pretty much consumed with BTI, but is there something on the horizon for either one of you, other projects? I remember, David, you had mentioned on Facebook some sort of a project that you were kind of keeping on the down low, I guess, at the time, something kind of steampunky, I think.
Yep. No, my plate is full. I think I've got 7 different projects I'm involved in right now, including BTI. So, yeah, I got lots of stuff coming up.
oh, you can add a few more. Make it
That's true.
Make it a full dozen. My
One
gosh.
thing I haven't learned in my acting training is how to say no. So
Ah.
I've got another web series I'm working on and 2 films, and then the steampunk project I was telling you about, and radio, like a radio show thing that I'm doing with another friend of mine, and then the play at the church, which is science fiction, oddly enough.
Your Christmas
play.
Christmas on the moon. Huh?
Sci-fi. It's on the moon. Well, I don't know
Christmas
how I'm going
on-
to sell that, but I just had to write it. Oh my god.
Oh, no, I hold on a minute. This is the first that I'm hearing about this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just happened to read his blog today. So.
Can you? Okay, so tell us a little bit about Christmas on the Moon, if you can.
Well, the idea of talking about peace on Earth while looking at it just was too rich to pass up. So I thought, I got to make this work. So it was either the International Space Station or the moon. So I thought, well, Buzz Aldrin had communion on the moon when they landed in 1969. Yeah, after they landed, but before they got out to walk around, he read from the Gospel of John and took communion. So I thought, all right, well, there's a precedent there. So I'd made it work. I just brought 4 regular people and then a computer AI that is asking them questions. And I don't know, it's really, I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I've written, actually. But how I'm going to sell it, I have no idea. I do have the cast. And believe it or not, I think Andrew Ian and another person from BTI are going to be on the cast. I tried to get Trav involved, but he had other commitments. But yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun.
You got Andrew, that loose cannon? Oh, dear.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Andrew.
Man, that guy's a force of nature. You got to watch out for him. He's trouble. What about you, Travis? I mean, you have any other acting projects or possibilities that might be looming on the horizon for yourself?
You know, between work and BTI and committing to the future of BTI, there's not too much room on the plate. And I think that as far as the future, projects go. I know that Jeff has got a lot of stuff in store even outside of BTI origin story. So, we're in talks of just kind of about what the future holds in regards to Etch Motion Pictures and all that type of thing. And so I definitely know that there's a lot more work ahead. And so I'm just kind of in the moment as of right now, but I know that, down the road that I'm pretty excited about, some of the other stuff that could
how to
manifest.
But you definitely are going to be pursuing acting once BTI is pretty much wrapped, right?
Oh, yes. Well,
that's good
cool.
to know.
Of course.
All right.
I'll
So
make sure he's
yeah. So for any adoring fans or people that want to follow you
Yes.
and your careers,
Are you on social media, Facebook, websites, Twitter, the intertubes? I mean, where can people find you to follow you without stalking?
Go ahead.
Well, I've got a blog. I update a couple times a month, and that's probably the best way. Facebook's not. Well, anyways, the blog is dlwagner.blogspot.com, and
Definitely read that. That's good stuff.
You'll get more than you want to know about me there. So
that's cool.
And Travis?
And Travis, do you have anything that
yeah,
you want to share or?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, just Travis Osland.
Okay.
That's probably where you get to see the less annoying aspect of Agent William Shepard.
Yeah.
you send them a friend request.
There you go. So you're on the Facebook. What about the Twitter?
Not on
either
the
one
Twitter.
of you?
In fact, some other Travis Osland somewhere else who's making his way in the tennis world. It took Travis Osland.
Oh, well,
Aw.
that's rude.
I know. I need to make some more money so I can buy it off of him.
Yeah, I was
There
going
you
to say that.
Exactly.
or add something funny to the character so that you can, make it your own, and then
Right.
and
Hey,
then
I'm
and
on
become
Twitter.
certified.
BTI Travis. There you
There
go.
My Twitter is dlwagner25. For anyone who's remotely interested, Mom. Hey, Mom.
Is it your mom your only follower?
One follower, yeah.
I've had a couple of people send me follow requests that have like one follower or two followers. It's like, really?
Well, they're just starting. They
I
have
know,
to follow
I know.
somebody.
Exactly.
They want
Exactly.
somebody to follow them.
Not stockworthy.
And I don't know who the heck they are.
Gotta start with Lane.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us. We've had Travis Osland and David Wagner from Beyond the Impact, and we hope to follow your careers, and we look very much forward to seeing what your characters do in the second half, or the fourth on half, if you will.
Yeah.
Thank you
Good
for being
stuff.
with us today.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. You guys are great. I appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Oh,
Cool.
We'll look forward to seeing you too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
And yes, that sound means it's time for the birthdays. Here are a few selected birthdays for October 26th through November 1st. October 26th, Carrie Elwes, 52.
He's 52.
Yes.
Wow, I still remember him as the young dreaded pirate Roberts.
Yes. And Jackie Coogan was born in 1915. You know who Jackie Coogan was?
Well, he was, I think, I know him as Perry White from Superman the movie.
And
But he wasn't he also, oh shoot, oh, doggone it. There was a movie that he did, I can't remember now.
the thing that he's probably most famous for, at least in a later career, was Uncle Fester.
Ah, okay. I stand
On the
I stand
Addams.
corrected. I'm thinking of Jackie Cooper.
Oh, yeah, Jackie Coogan.
Jackie Coogan, that's right. He was Uncle Fester, yes.
Yes. And then Bob Hoskins would have been 73 on October 26th. Roger Alam is 61.
Wow, he looks good.
Yeah, and also on October 26th in 1685, Domenico Scarlatti. October 27th, John Cleese is 75.
Whoa.
And that actually happens to be Holy Grail's 40th anniversary release day.
Imagine that.
I wonder how that happened. Think they planned that?
No.
No. Robert Picardo is 61, and also on October 27th, 1728, Niccolo Paganini had the largest hands of a violin player ever, they say.
Well, yeah.
So,
He was also a very tortured man, from what I
Yes,
understand.
but
But
he
boy,
wrote-
what a gifted player!
Yeah, and the music that he wrote, the 24 Paganini Caprices for violin, were just
Ahead of their-
unbelievable.
They were ahead of their time.
Yes, they were. October 28th, Bill Gates is 59, and Dr. Jonas Salk was born in 1915, most famous for polio
The
vaccine.
polio vaccination.
Absolutely. We no longer have polio in the world because of Dr. Jonas Salk and his work. The thing he's most famous for, I think I read something that he just kind of poo-pooed that. All the other work that he did, he was more, he wanted to be better known for that rather than the polio vaccine.
Huh, how about that?
Anyway, I think. Could be somebody else. October 29th, Richard Dreyfuss, 67. October 30th, Harry Hamlin, 63?
Oh, my.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Also, October 30th, 1735, John Adams, second president of the United States.
And probably one of my favorite of all of the founding fathers.
Yes. October 31st, Peter Jackson, 53.
He's younger than us?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable, huh? David Ogden Stiers is 72. Probably more famous now for his voiceover work than he was
Yeah,
for
I mean, 'cause
anything else.
I think most people originally know him as Major Winchester from MASH originally, but yeah, his voiceover work is unbelievable, and he's
Just
really
done a
very,
ton of stuff.
very gifted with voices.
Yes. And last but not least, November 1st, Tim Cook is 54. And that's it for the birthdays today.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You can find culture at the theater. You can find culture in the bottom of an unwashed coffee mug. Or you can find culture on your iPod. Join Brad, Glenn, and Christina on Pod Culture, Equal Opportunity Geekness. Go to www.podculture.net.
Go give a listen to our friends over at Pod Culture. And now, you know what's next?
I can only imagine.
Listener feedback.
Whoa!
And we have quite a bit of feedback today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And I was just going to say, that with the way we're reacting to each other's stories and with your sound effects, we're going to start sounding like a morning zoo show on the radio.
Yeah.
Anyway, starting with early this week, we posted, or last week, I suppose, we posted a story regarding a character named Connor Hawke, who will be appearing in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. And our friends over at the Dork of All Trades podcast posted, I would have been happy to find this out on the show, but blankety blank, this is awesome. Fill in the blankety blank with your own imagination.
Exactly.
And then Crazy Joe, who is why I love him so much. He's always free to share an opinion, and we love your opinions, Joe.
Yes, we do. And Crazy Joe, I just want to say, I hope you have noticed that I took the evil laugh off of the end of the tag.
Yeah, I did notice that. He didn't say anything on that, but I'm sure you noticed. Anyway, regarding our story on the Fantastic Four and why 20th Century Fox decided to hold on to it, in regards to hopefully making a sequel, he writes, I disagree that there will be a Fantastic Four sequel. I see that film of having a negative 100 chance of happening. Fox lost so much money on that film and was embarrassed by its failure. I wasn't aware that they were embarrassed by it, but okay.
They should be.
They should be embarrassed. It was horrible. Even if they were to do a sequel, I can't see the cast returning. those actors are going to want to distance themselves from one of the biggest failures on their collective resumes, and that I would agree. Yes, they might be contractually obliged, but studios don't often enforce those obligations if the cast is strongly opposed, because the studios usually want to remain on good terms with the actors for future projects. So I don't know anything about any contractual obligations or trying to make sure that any ill feelings are smoothed over, but I would agree that they must be very unhappy with the outcome of that film.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were very ill-used in it.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't surprise me. And then in our sort of in a related story regarding Daredevil, how 20th Century Fox decided to let that one lapse, and how Ben Affleck hated it. And of course, it was not a very popular or well-received film. Joe writes, I totally disagree that the Ben Affleck Daredevil was horrible. I loved that movie and loved the longer director's cut even more. I was disappointed that Affleck opted out of and thus killed the sequel. Now, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, I guess we have to find out if it's available. Did we see it on Netflix?
No, we never. I don't recall if we ever even looked to see if it was on Netflix.
We have to look.
We'll have to take a look on that. We do need to try it. I remember when I saw the trailers for it, I thought I really need to take a look at this film, and I just never got around to it. So I think it's worth viewing, and I agree with Joe regarding possibly what he thinks of Ben Affleck's portrayal. Ben Affleck's a much underrated actor, and I think the upcoming Dawn of Justice movie is going to prove that. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays Daredevil. And then Mrs. Crazy Joe, also known as Christina Fior, she writes in regards to a Mary Poppins story that we had talked about last time. She says, I'm not sure how I feel about this. On one hand, I adore all things Disney, but on the other hand, all they seem to be doing is remaking things, and she's right.
Yeah, we talked about that. Was it last week? Stop
Yeah,
with the remakes already.
Yes, stop with the remakes, please. Mary Poppins is just another in line with all of the live-action remakes that have been announced. Mary Poppins is practically perfect in every way.
Thank you.
Thank you. We so agree, and I fear they will ruin it. But you never know. I enjoyed the live-action Cinderella, so maybe they know what they're doing after all. Okay, Two things. The live-action Cinderella, yes, that is a wonderful movie.
It was a great film.
It is absolutely beautiful. It is done in the spirit of what Cinderella should be, but that's a live-action remake of an animated film. What they're doing with Mary Poppins is something entirely different, and we've got another story that recently came out. We're going to put I'll put the show notes out on that for you, but basically what they're saying is that this is going to be an extension, not a reboot, not a sequel. This is merely an extension. We know that P.L. Travers, she wrote a number of Mary Poppins stories, so this is probably just going to be another chapter, so to speak.
So what's the difference between an extension and a sequel?
Well, I put it to you this way. It's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's an equal. At least I think that's what they envision it to be. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And in the case of, you're actually extension and sequels is that I think those two do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an extension. I think it's just another movie that the only continuity is that you have Mary Poppins, and that's it.
Ah.
Yeah, that's it. Other than that, there's
and
no
Michael
continuity. Yeah, other than that, there's absolutely no continuity between the
50 years apart.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it for feedback.
That is the feedback. If you have feedback for our show or for our website, you can go and give it to us on our Facebook page, on our YouTube episodes, or at tggeeks.com. And you could receive a shout out like Crazy Joe and Mrs. Crazy Joe and Dork of All Trades podcast on this episode. You could have a shout out on a future episode, or you can call our listener feedback line. And we'll play your comment on air. And we've done that with Brian as well as
Crazy
Joe. 469 TG Geeks. That is 469-844-3357.
This is Mark Biaggi, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks webcast. You name it, they'll talk about it.
Well, that's normally our intro into the next segment where we talk about different things, but this time we're actually just have a few follow-up items that we're going to talk about today.
Just a couple things I want to touch on really, really quickly. Netflix, they released a trailer, the full trailer. Yay! It's finally online for Jessica Jones. It's on our website. For anybody who'd been to our website previously when the story first dropped, I had a trailer out there that posted yesterday morning, and then YouTube mysteriously pulled it. I discovered that today. Netflix had it pulled.
Netflix pulled it or something.
It was taken away, but a new trailer was put out there. So the link, which we'll have in our show notes, will take you to the story that has an actual viewable trailer. So check that out when you get a chance.
Yep.
Second, Power Rangers.
There's
a big reboot that's being planned by Lionsgate, and the casting has just been coming in fast and furiously. Within the last several days, they've announced 4 of the 5 Power Rangers. They've announced as the Red Ranger, Dacre Montgomery; as the Pink Ranger, Naomi Scott; as the Black Ranger, Ludi Lin; as the Yellow Ranger, R.J. Seiler. We are still missing the Blue Ranger.
What about the Chartreuse Ranger?
I got no comment for that. Anyway, we'll have the links for those individual castings on our show notes as well. And last but not least, this was just announced as of this recording this morning. K9 is coming back to star in his own Doctor Who spin-off type movie.
K9?
Yeah, K9.
Affirmative master.
Affirmative master. Yes, he's coming back in a movie called Timequake.
Timequake.
Yes, and he will be doing battle with Omega, from what we've heard.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, just one little caveat to all of this. Some people, and one of my best friends who lives in the UK, Darren Anderson, said that he believes this is actually going to be taken from the Australian K9 TV series, as opposed to them using the UK version. And if that's the case, then it's I'm very much afraid, because the Aussie version, and I love Australians, but that Australian version of K9 was just horrifyingly
was that
bad.
K9 and Company? Was it?
No, K9 and Company was with Sarah Jane.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a BBC production, and then K9 came back for the Sarah Jane Adventures, and then after that they spun him off to Australia, and it was bad. So that's pretty much it for the news. Check out the links in our show notes.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to kind of touch on, it's your last chance to be part of a independent film, and as of this recording, which is Saturday, and as of the release, there will only be 2 days left in the campaign. They were, as of Saturday here, 55 British pounds from making their stretch goal. Now, they have it's completely funded, and they get all the funds whether they meet that stretch goal or not. So go ahead and give them a look. We'll have the link to their Indiegogo campaign. There's some interesting perks. I mean, for £10, I think you can get a digital download of the shorts. For, I think, $20, you can get an actual DVD. Probably going to be region 2, but give them a look over on Indiegogo. Conditioning. It is a horror short with a message.
And also, I want to give a shout out to the Doctor Who Fancast Guide. They've been putting our stories in there. You can see the Fancast Guide by following @TalkingWho on Twitter. And then lastly, our good friend Brian, that we've talked about, who's left us some very interesting feedback in the past. And it's just interesting. You've left us great feedback, Brian.
Yes,
we love you.
We love you.
You've given us great, awesome feedback, even things for us to think about. Anyway, he has his own little dispatch news issue that he posts on Twitter. It is the Arkle Times Post Dispatch. He's been carrying our stories there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. And you can see the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News by following Brian on Twitter at Arkle, and we will have those links on the show notes as well. And last but not least, I have to give again another shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, for allowing us to post our episodes on their website. And their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And again, my eternal thanks to the moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, for letting us do that.
Yes, thank you very much. Up next time.
Not entirely sure.
We don't have any clue.
It could be anything. It might be another interview. We don't know yet.
Seat of the pants mean anything to you? Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode on tggeeks.com. We're going to have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page, our website at tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-844-3357 or 469-TG-GEEKS. From TG Squared Studios in Phoenix, Arizona, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.